Okay, we're gonna try that again. This is take 2 of my live stream. Yeah, I did do a live stream. It was an epic fail. It was on mute. Okay, so I just made sure the sound test was fine. Sound test is going. Well, the sound is flowing. So anyone that chimes in live can let me know if the sound dies off again. But this time, making sure that the light is solid on my mic. That means it is on. All right, let's proceed, shall we? So I'm going to get through the intros as quick as possible because this ate into my time. So this is Tech Talk episode 5. In this one, I'm basically covering 2 items, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 and the Nintendo Switch announcement. So that's basically all I'm going to be covering. And since it's going to be a bit of a nerd moment, I decided, you know what, why not take advantage of the possibility of doing 2 recordings, or at least 1 recording for my my main show on Mondays, because I get a moment to geek out. I'm even wearing my Batman polo with my name etched on it. It was a gift from my father, which actually means a lot considering he was not a Batman fan, and he got this for me on a trip. So I'm like, thank you very much. Anywho, for those of you not watching this on live, you'll notice that it is clipped at the very end, and there's a reason for that, because I will clip it. I'm actually on the re-upload. If you're not watching this live, it'll be clipped. So anything that I record for the next episodes, I'm going to take down this broadcast after the replay, so then I can put that up for my show later. So you're watching this live, you get to see what I get to cover live. And in fact, you might actually see some Easter eggs on my Chrome screen here. But anyway, this is my website, www.usergoba.com. That's where everything happens. For those of you that are watching this outside of YouTube, most of you might actually see some Throwback Thursday action going on. There's some my biggest hits from YouTube, and also stuff that never made it to YouTube. So you're lucky to see some of that stuff. You can check out what I've been putting up there on the other platforms if you so choose to. Now, the comment of the week is from a comment that for some reason does not appear on the actual video. You'll see there's 2 comments on the video of homelessness and housing affordability, but it won't show this comment from Sam Ayan that I'm highlighting here, which is interesting because I had opened YouTube to address it, and it's not helpful review. It hasn't been flagged or anything. It's just not there. But here it is. So I'm going to highlight this one. This episode of homelessness and housing affordability was my follow-up to the Los Angeles homelessness crisis. So you have not yet checked that one out, by all means, please do. I know it's a bit longer, but it's just as thorough as can be as to how this issue, how bad it is in Los Angeles and California overall, but mostly Los Angeles, about what the heck is happening on the streets of Los Angeles. So the comment here, because Los Angeles is spending $1.2 billion to house the homeless, and it's failing spectacularly, and that's on top of the other millions and billions that have been poured into this, and the state contributing. Sam Miami makes this comment. Yet mobile homes run about price of $40,000. Imagine for $40,000 you can put a homeless person into a brand new 2-bedroom manufactured home. Your only worry is their address. Taxpayers is the location of government property to locate these manufacturer home. Why are you and robbing people? People are dying, you crooks. Let me just have the balls to say in translation what the politicians won't say. This is political genocide. You cannot explain it any other way. I don't know why entirely this comment might not appear on that episode, but all I can say is absolutely true. That if you're going to be spending $1.2 billion on housing the homeless, and you want to build these residential sky rises or high rises with granite tops and all that stuff, and you're not getting anything done, then why didn't you just bother with manufactured homes? Is it because you're going to be moving them out of the city? Whatever. I don't know. It's just there's a huge homelessness I don't want to say conglomerate, but there is like the industrial military complex. There's a homelessness industrial complex and all that too, that is profiting off them, including the cartels. So it's a mess. It's a mess. Okay, all right. That's the comment of the week, and there's a lot of great comments. I'm actually thinking about doing another episode just devoted to comments entirely. So I'll let you know about that. All right, let's proceed on. One of the highlights of the week is this news story that I only seem to be the one caring about. Skype for Business Online users have less than 1 month to move to Microsoft Teams. This is from WindowsCentral.com, and look, Skype for Business Online has only been around since 2015, but it's being retired this month. I've had such a bad experience with Skype for Business, which is probably why Microsoft isn't pushing Skype itself, and they're pushing Teams, which is supposed to be built off of Skype. Whatever. The point is, Skype was just one of those things that Microsoft never really cared about, kind of like Nokia. And I've had interviews that I've done on Skype for Business that have just never recorded. Good thing I had backup stuff, and some of those cases were audio only. So for those of you on YouTube, you might have seen some of those interviews, and there's interviews that were only for the podcast that will be coming out in the coming weeks to the program, kind of like a throwback episodes. Those were the episodes that Skype for Business failed to record the video version, but I was able to salvage the audio with my other programs. That's why some people ask me, hey, when you're doing interviews, sometimes you take too long of a pause, or you're doing a lot of ums and that. They don't see my screen. I have at least 2 or 3 screens, including my tablet, that I'm monitoring because I have notes in one. I have the other audio program because I don't have an audio production team. It's all just basically me. So I have to pay attention to who I'm talking to, making sure the stream is up, making sure that on my notes that I covered the questions that I was going to cover, and that it's flowing correctly, and collecting my thoughts. Yeah, there's some that I get to perform a lot better on than others, but yeah, that's the side that people don't get to see. So Skype for Business Online, you won't be missed. All right. Next one up is this. This is where I get to geek out. For the lockdown, I tried to get a Nintendo Switch so I can enjoy my kids, because if I was going to get a console, it was going to be this one, just because I can enjoy my childhood, as you could say, with my children. But these things were sold out, so I couldn't get them. And as soon as people went to lockdown, these things got scooped up immediately. So my sister got me one of these on reserved for so long, and it came on time for my birthday. So woohoo! So now I have a Nintendo Switch. And then this thing gets announced. They're calling it the OLED model. I know there was a Pro variant that people were kind of anticipating. It's supposed to be at 4K, maybe a bigger screen, whatever it is, but isn't. This one's OLED display, and it is bigger. But for the most part, the specs do seem to be just about the same. Different color, 7 inches, wide adjustable stand. I guess that's an improvement over the little kickstand the previous one had. Find your best viewing angle, similar to the Surface, the Microsoft Surface series. Built-in wired LAN port or LAN port. 64 gigabytes of internal storage. You could save the games. I prefer the physical media. I don't like streaming them or digital because things happen. Enhanced audio. So I guess that's good for those of you that are on the go. As for myself, I am not on the go with this thing, and I wouldn't be. But it's cool that you can. What do I think about OLED? I think it's fantastic that it's going to be coming to the Switch, just that OLED technology also does burn-in. So we'll see how this goes. For anybody that is going to be using this on mobile, on the go, just know that hopefully if Nintendo does it right with maybe a Samsung display provider, not LG, you won't get burn-in on the screen. So that's basically the only concern I ultimately have for Nintendo Switch. But if I'm going to upgrade mine, the only one I truly care about upgrading would be to the Pro variant. But I must say, the white looks pretty cool. I might end up getting just the Joy-Con because, well, never have enough Joy-Cons. So, yeah. Okay. Wait. I have kids, so the reason I wouldn't get the white is because that thing's going to be smudged up pretty bad, pretty quick. So, yeah. Yeah. What do you guys think? I think it's pretty cool. This is like a panda to me. It's pretty cool. All right. Okay. Next one up for Tech Talk. This is the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3. This, I must say, was pretty cool. So this is from pocketnow.com. This is a Twitter. I had the Twitter post, but I'm like, you know what? I'll just go here. The camera is underneath the screen. That is pretty cool. I actually seen this. I don't remember if it was Hold on, I got a timer popping up here. I don't know if that was Acer or Asus that developed it first. The whole camera underneath the display. There's a brand new resort that was just been opened, the first one in over a decade in Las Vegas. It's called Resorts World. I saw it under when they were finalizing construction, so I wasn't around for the grand opening a few weeks ago. This thing has an enormous screen on one side, and I thought, okay, they're probably only using the non-window sections as the screen. No. The windows are part of the screen too. Just because it wasn't on, it didn't look that way, where it looks like the whole thing was being used as a screen. Apparently, they're using this technology, kind of the whole idea of a camera underneath the screen, like a transparent screen. The same principle applies to this enormous I guess LED display. You can call it that. When I saw that hotel, I'm like, dude, this thing is trying to be loud and proud. And sure enough, when I pulled up the website looking up that stuff, like, yeah, they were pretty loud. So I like that idea. It's almost invisible. These are renders, of course, not the real thing. So we'll have to wait and see until it comes out. Check this out. It does look like the Samsung S21 series from the back, I guess, because here's the hinge, or the crease, if you will. Now, here's the real curious thing, because this is the year we're not going to be getting a note. I know. It's a tragedy. The first year in a long time that we don't get a note, since the note was basically launched. But this thing's supposed to have a pen support. Really? So that means that we can now not have to be careful with our fingernail, because the Motorola Razr and the Z Fold 1 and 2, I hate these stupid names. I could just call it the Fold, man. But anyway, you shouldn't be puncturing it. You can't pull out the seal. It breaks it. It's bendable glass, but it breaks anyway. But now we'll be able to puncture it, or at least stab it continuously with an S Pen, similar to the Galaxy S7 Tab. In other words, one of those that attaches to the outside, not one of those that go into the silo. So I'm interested in seeing that. I'm ultimately curious, because this is supposed to have some level of water and dust resistance as well. That would be a major improvement over the previous generation, which gives me hope for the fourth generation. Will I go out to get it? Technology is not ready yet, but I probably wouldn't mind so much if I had to. So that's the major difference between then and apparently pretty soon now, because this is going to be announced at the Unpacked event next month in August 2021. So we shall see about that. Okay. Let's see what else. I don't know if it's happening on your end too, but let me know if you're having issues with my resolution, because my audio is probably coming in pretty good, but for some reason the picture might be having some issues. So I hope that's not the case. So again, if you're watching this live, I'll be bringing it down afterwards and re-uploading. So if there was any like quality issues with the video, it should be addressed with the archived version that I'll be able to upload afterwards. Why? Because now here's where I wrap it up. These are my closing thoughts for Tech Talk. I'm keeping this one relatively short compared to the others because I want to take time to address my next recording, but I'll be doing this live. So I'll be doing my closing thoughts. I'll cut it off for myself, and then you'll see those replays later if you didn't catch these live. I am going to be reviewing The Tomorrow War, and if I have time, Tenet. So if you've been looking at my tabs at the top, there's the giveaways. So let's wrap this up. There's a lot of other rumors. Normally, I don't like covering rumors because it's clickbait, okay? I know the analytics of what drives my YouTube channel. I know a lot of you that have tuned in have been mostly for BlackBerry News. And there's a fellow YouTuber. I seen what feels like the same video go up almost every single week, and it gets thousands of clicks. I can do that too. I'm not going to. Look, I'm not gonna get revenue out of it. I have a rule about clickbait. That's why whenever there's these stories, hey, the next phone could possibly have this. Yeah, it could also possibly have that. anything's a possibility. And if not this year, it'll possibly be the following year. And you could say that about anything with anonymous facts or whatever, anonymous sources. You can speculate about anything. And people are going to tune in. I'm not going to do that. I find that really disingenuous and quite frankly annoying. So with that being said, I don't do that. I don't intend to do that. And far be it from me to fall into that trap. But I do intend to do, for those of you that want me to cover more about the Surface Duo, that's the folding phone from Microsoft. I have some thoughts about that, particularly with the next gen that's supposedly around the corner. But in the meanwhile, I do recommend you check out Windows Central. Zach Bowden actually wrote a opinion piece here. I'm not going to read it out for you, but I do recommend you check it out. It's called it's the software, not the hardware, that will make or break Surface Duo 2. Absolutely, because it's 10 months later. How has it held up? And I want to do a long-term review on it. So I recommend you check his stuff out. I'm not going to be doing clickbait stuff, but I do intend to address, to at least help make some noise, signal boost the whole, we're in July, where the heck are the BlackBerry updates from Onward Mobility? Is this a company that has gone belly up already? Because there's absolutely nothing coming on that front. So I've said it before, that I think it's time to move on. And speaking of moving on, I know there's a lot of you that are checking out my BlackBerry 10 stuff. I do intend to do a follow-up to that, but more of an end-of-life kind of thing. So stay tuned. And that's it. That does it for this episode of Tech Talk. Thank you for tuning in. I do these live. I'm trying to do them on a schedule every Thursday, mostly because, well, I love doing live streams. I do this on Instagram a lot, where I do coffee breaks. But mostly it's because it's a chance that for those of you that start catching on to interact with me live, this things get way more views afterwards, not on the day. I know there's a lot of other YouTubers that also start broadcasting around this time. So maybe I'll put up a poll. If you're following me on the socials, I'll probably plaster it across as many socials as I can to try to get a field for what time and day might work out best to do these. So stay tuned for that. But anyway, as for Tech Talk, that does it for this episode. Thank you so very much. As always, go check out my stuff at www.leadershipsegovia.com. Off the record, everything on what other platforms you can watch my stuff on, including to check out my throwback stuff if you don't want to take the time to parse through my website. But anything and everything is here. So I recommend you check that out there. And you can also find where to connect with me. So for those of you watching the replay, this is where I leave it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you didn't know. And I'll see you on the next one.